this is just the start of them kind of warming up into things. So I'll be very curious to see if they've fixed up this ancient, because they've got to get it ironed out really quickly, considering the kind of level of competition and stakes that are kind of on deck for them should they lose this map.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. But it looks like we are going to get fortunate up. We are going into this map number 3, the opening or the last determination to see who's going to keep moving on in the upper bracket. Like we talked about, this is that double elimination. So loser of this game will be able to keep themselves in a fighting chance here in the lowers. But like you said, nobody wants to be in that position. And 9Z are going to be on the CT side. And Red Canids, they've already taken that mid control. They're taking a bit of a bite of a donut right now. They're going to go for that A crunch, but Martineza now making a bit more of a nuisance here in that thorn on the side and not allowing him to get this plant for free.
That 4-1 split fails. Very wonderful for Martineza to hold on to this part of the map. And they're going to try to duel into CT instead. Buddha gets his. And now, one by one, these Red Canids players are getting spit aside. And it's only Venom Zera left up in this. Team Ace on deck here for 9Z. And they're going to continue to try to defuse this bomb, but instead, it's trying to chase down. Venom Zera gets 3, and now Martinez is still on this bomb. He stuck it all the way through, and I don't think information. He gets all 4 kills, but he cannot get the clutch at the end of the day. Very, very awesome attempt there from Venom Zera, but just can't get it over the line.
Yeah, and that was a 10-second defuse too, and I mean, that's the thing, like, the donut position can be so powerful, but everybody knows that most time in the post plant you're going to play there, but when you push like that, you better be prepared for the gunfight, and Venom Zera came up with the 4K, and just within just a second of a difference, lost that one, but 9Z, they'll clinch that one just barely, and now we're going to see Red Canids once again, instead of doing that 4-1 split into the A, they are just going to do a 4-1 instead of mid control. They're just going to go through A main, but look at 9Z. They've gotten so much information, so they should have a good inkling on this. Wasso does have that molly. That's going to be problematic here. It does get the noise cue. These guys are going to run through this. Not take too much damage, thankfully. But now it's going to be a retake scenario here for 9Z.
A lot of good initial damage there from 9Z. And 5v5 retakes on the A side are a little bit more doable. 5v4 retakes are even better. DTG shuts down Destiny, the late lurk. And the bomb planter also goes down. Sure, Venom Zera can trade out, but into the 4v3, things look a lot better for 9Z to potentially confirm. They've got a flashbang to potentially prime these CTs and Donut in, and it'll just be a swarm of this A site.
Now the swing's coming through. Venom Zera, once again, somebody that's been able to put up some decent numbers. A nice quick headshot, why not? Now leaving it to Davideus by himself with Gleel in hand. Almost able to find that second. But the defuse should have enough time. They have the kid on it. 9Z will take this second round, but it's costly, Paladin. I mean, they're down to the 2 players. They are able to retrieve that AK as well, so a decent upgrade, but the bomb plant's going to be good for Red Canids, all things considered.
Now Red Canids have an opportunity to double dip if they want. Bringing it down to the 2vx, 9Z's economy isn't in the best shape, as you said, Laz, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to reinvest after securing that bomb plant. And they're not out of this half just yet. There's a real world where they can turn this around quite instantaneously. It's not the prettiest buy, but then again, neither is 9Z's.
I think it's a good call. I mean, they got the bomb plant. They're able to take down a lot of players. So I think if, you know, Red Canids can find this round, this really can actually make a bit of a, you know, big impact in terms of the money situation here for the CTs. And this is a great start. There we go. Look at that. 2 openers simultaneously happening right away. And no trade has happened here from the CT side. Martineza, oh my, I thought he was a dead man walking. But now he's treading on some dangerous waters. And he gets caught with a knife out. And there it is. Davideus now able to find that one. So now they've single-handedly taken these duels, finally losing one. Some replies are coming back in. The pulse is starting to get a little bit more. And the MP9 to death? I don't know what is going on.
What?
9Z have dug deep, and they have brought this back in a round where they were down. And it's all down to a clutch scenario right now.
Lackadaisical there in the clearing from Red Canids, and it comes down to just fantastic 1v1s being caused, and there's no way Venom Zera cleared this side. The dink comes through, Huaso finishes the job, and 9Z have gotten away with murder. No bomb plant, and that should be enough for 9Z to pull away in these force buy wars. What a hoodwink of a round.
It's just, you know, you'd love to see the Red Canids were able to start things off again, getting those opening duels. They had the man advantage. That was the right thing. And then it just kind of crumbled. And again, you have to, you know, give some big kudos here for the player that was in cave, was able to find that double. And I think that was Buddha. And he gets, you know, those 2 1v1 fights, brings it back. And then it just, again, just falls apart quickly. So now we're going to have to see what they want to do a little bit differently. They put a lot of attention towards A. Now this round is looking like that bomb is making its way towards B. And yeah, all right, there it is. Why not? A D-led shot, a little more spice for this one.
Venom Zera, man, he's had a hell of a series as well. 8-2 to start off Ancient. And you want this guy to be awake and then some if you want to take over this upset in the upper bracket. Gonna reaggress 9Z to potentially take part of this map over again. Great first kill to put things over, but a little overzealous there from Buddha and bit off more than he can chew. And Destiny punishes him and DGT. Now Martineza is caught between a rock and a hard place, and he has to get out as well. So a 2vx again. And how about it? Red Canids, in probably the most unlikely round of the 4 that we've played so far, they get away there first.
Yeah, and this is what they did on Anubis too, right? I mean, we talked about they were, you know, Tech 9s, and they were able to, you know, take the site. They were able to get the extra guns for the big upgrade, and this is what they're doing right here. So now with this, they're able to find the two M4s and putting this in a situation where 9Z losing a round where on paper they probably shouldn't have. But it came down to Red Canids just finding these good shots, kind of baiting these players into fights. And that was a very nice little bit of a baiting switch and stuff like that. I think this is really good. And now we're going to see that 3-1. Exits coming in from Martineza, and that's not bad, all things considered.
Wow. The eradication from Red Canids on just pistols. And it comes down to just overzealousness from 9Z, realizing that, hey, they're on pistols, we have ecos, we can go for it. But in reality, it is just much more difficult to take that lane control one by one. It's got to be a team effort. And that disjointedness is punished by Destiny especially. So very critical 2 kills on the Deagle. And Red Canids have immediately snapped 9Z's economy. That was the round for the stabilization to come through, and they don't find it. And that's why you have 3 MP9s on this squad and some pistols to round it out. Red Canids have really found a lifeline now. And they have to really make do with this opportunity that they've been given, because mistakes like that aren't going to come too often.
Well, and even this positioning coming in, oh, actually, that's good smoke timing. I was worried a little bit. Molly will just go in the back of Donut, so DGT is going to be fine. So we should be able to get out of this position without making that noise cue. But a nice split coming in from Red Canids right now. You can see the one player just close to mid-house, waiting things out. Buddha now just kind of inspecting with the Deeg. Might get timing here by Venom Zera, but that's a good trade coming back and forth, though.
Would have loved to have a rifle there in that fight, Guaso, and the long-range duels with these MP9s are just so brutal. Somehow, someway, it's still a 2v3. David is potentially offering up a kill, and it doesn't come through, but I think he spotted out a player there. And with that, the call is moving back into this A site. David can get even more space into the back of CT spawn. And I think that one little glimpse of a shoulder David spotted is round winning.
Nice plant coming in, too. What do these two players want to do here? With the P250, the MP9. Not the most fun position. Destiny does have a really good lineup potentially. He needs to make sure he hits the shot though, but they're playing a little bit of cat and mouse. The nade's out, needs his gun, but he's gonna be okay with it. Now the rap's gonna come through here. Martineza is just gonna go all the way through T-spawn, going into a fight that's not very favorable for an MP9, but Hardsound might not even clear this. He's expecting him to come through this lane. He might be gifted an M4 here. Yeah, it's done. That's easy. That's a nice upgrade here. And Red Canids, they're able to pull themselves back into this. And like we said, this has kind of been the theme. Both these teams, whenever they're down a deficit, they seem to just, you know, thrive when their backs are on the board.
And this should be the easier round for Red Canids to confirm and tie this at threes. But we've seen how many unlikely rounds have gone the way into the underdog's hands across this series. We had some crazy semantics on Anubis with some clutches on mere pistols and clutches from Nithon. On Nuke, it felt a little bit more one-sided, but we still had some crazy pistol plays there as well. So don't count Martineza and Co out. I love this aggression from him to take some lane control, but none of these Red Canids members are giving away anything. Instead they're actually dishing out nades as Buddha goes down to 11.
Yeah, now he's just, I'm going to get out of this. I don't like this spot. I mean, he doesn't have really much to, use. I mean, it's just the USP, right? I mean, this is, again, not really a lot invested or anything invested, really. So Red Canids, again, in a position where they could find themselves back to the equalizer here for the 3-3, but can't be reckless, can't be careless in this situation. Grouped up, still at B door, waiting things out. Really hesitating, expecting some kind of aggression, some kind of stack. Now the CTs, they're actually going to over-rotate on this too. So now we can see on the minimap, instead of it being the stack at B, they go all the way to A, and this timing couldn't have been worse, because now Red Canids, they're going to take the site. They're just going to barrel on in, and they should be able to get this plant for free.
No problems there for Red Canids. They've gotten another round where they don't have to take too many casualties, if anything. And 9Z are very keen on just holding on to this A1S, defend Martineza's life, and Red Canids do in fact tie it. No shenanigans this time around. And we'll get the guns back out in the 7th. What a storm back here from Red Canids, huh?
Man, it really is. And that's the thing. I feel like what we've seen so far in this best of 3 is, again, you can never really bank on the team with the lead, because we've seen it from both sides. Like they just somehow persevere. They climb themselves back into these games. And I was getting a little bit worried because 9Z looked pretty strong on their CT side. And now we're talking a tie game, and we're going to have that moment to see, the rifles are going to come on out. So again, a good, potential round for momentum.
Martineza gets that AWP out. We've seen the amount of damage he's able to do on the CT side when he has the big green. Huge amounts of impact on Anubis. Picked it up on Nuke as well. So far, his debut has been pretty solid. Now, whether or not he can actually take over the game is another question. I know 9Z have been looking for that sort of player for a while now, ever since they lost Try. Or I should say moved on from Try. But now, a lot resting on the shoulders of these riflers, if that's not the win condition.
This is some good control, though, from the CT side. Again, I love that they're just fighting for mid like this. Still putting the pressure point on this. They're not going to let it go. So they've split this right in the half, right? I mean, so now that Red Canids they're going to have to either refight this or just commit to a site. And you can see that it's that 3-2 split. Not the best positioning. And even the 3 players with the bomb, they're in the back of B doors. So it's not even like they can pop flash anybody to go swing through elbow into mid. So this isn't really the greatest amount of positioning that we're seeing from the T's, but I think they're wanting 9Z to just burn a ton of utility. And that is kind of the key point here, because again, we have a smoke and a molly remaining here for the CT side, where Red Canids, they're sitting pretty good with the inventory.
Love that smoke drop from Max. Allows him to spam through cave here. And the mid utility is also very well played. Venom Zera and Hardtower kind of segmented, and they all get absolutely eradicated. The lane player goes down as well. 30 seconds left on the clock, and 9Z's constriction with the utility has just befuddled Red Canids. There is no idea as to what the game plan is, and their game plan has just come crumbling down. Sure, Destiny will get a plant, but 37 health in a 1v4, I don't think he's cut out for this.
Yeah, he's going to have to get moving here quickly, because he's got a lot of people to take down. That's the first one. Still 3 remaining. One of these players is low with 6 HP. And it looks like he's going to wrap around, but yeah, the defuse is coming in. I think he's just going to give this up. I was thinking he was maybe going to go all the way around to long B and try to, do the impossible or something like that. But no, he's going to concede defeat for now. But I love that from 9Z. Again, I was worried a bit for their sake in the terms of the utility. It was lackluster. There wasn't much that they had remaining. But Red Canids, for some reason, instead of going into these sites with the guns, they seem to be really focused on the util use. And I feel like that cost them at least on one or two of those players, especially in mid, where DGG was able to find that double kill in mid cubby.
Yeah, it really just comes down to holding down mid as much as possible. You see how they're continuously cycling in those smoke grenades, and then that final Molotov just totally ruins their game plan, and they are forced to fight. This time, they're going to try to pressure that A side of the map a little bit quicker, especially considering Buddha and Max have taken over all of B lane. Martinez is going to have to step up big as they try to split into this A side.
And even with that aggression, they don't even commit to it right away, too. You can see that the bomb's still, like, through elbow on mid right now. This nade could do some decent damage. It does. And 9Z do start things off with a bit of a reply, but we bring it back to the 3 and 3. Mid. Yeah, and now it's dropped. So this is a problem because two players are towards A. Also able to find that one on David. That's big. So now these players are split apart from each other. This is not what you want. Destiny about to give his position away, hoping to find something. Now needs to tuck tail again. And 9Z, they might have just taken this round through the technicality of the bomb placement.
Oh, it's so ugly for Red Canids. Nithon gets his head popped. Huaso has some impactful kills here off of mid. And it's only Destiny yet again in a 1v3 this time. Maybe a little bit easier, but with no bomb, as we said, there is just no room for Destiny to get anything done in this round. Maybe just another save, but Red Canids on just the metric of these defaults, 9Z are a step above. They've had solid mid control. They found answers every single step of the way, and Red Canids just don't have any answers back.
No, not at all. Now we're starting to see that 5-3. One more round needed here for 9Z to bare minimum get that 6, which we have seen that before, where, you know, the half goes 6-6. Timeout going to be used, and to kind of beat me to it, I was thinking, like, we haven't seen a lot being utilized from these guys, but good to see it now being finally called, and they're kind of in that position where they can go for this purchase. They need to figure out what they need to do. Let's slow down the, you know, the momentum here that's being gained from 9Z and reevaluate the game plan.
Very important tack timeout here. What is that adaptation we're looking for? Maybe try to burst through that mid utility instantaneously, drop that smoke, have a couple flashes over the top, and try to duel 9Z before they get settled into mid. Or maybe you try to up the tempo on that A side of the map, force the mid players to give up mid control and fight from Donut instead. I mean, there are a lot of options here to potentially force these 9Z players out of mid. It's just a question of what they want to opt in for. And it's going to be neither. They're very willing to just give over the mid control. And they're having to give up B lane as well. And I don't know, Laz. This feels really constricting to really pull together any T-sided rounds.
Yeah, we keep seeing that, again, they're just playing very passive behind these doors on B main right now, and just look at what we're seeing right now. I mean, there's some big spam damage coming in from 9Z. Nithon was spammed away to 15, by the way, and then the nade damage coming into Destiny, putting him down to 36. So they barely have seen anybody, and they've taken so much effect here. So again, 9Z are just putting in so much aggression. And Red Canids, now they need to figure out what they want to do with this. They have lots of utility in comparison to 9Z, but what we saw previously, that's not really going to matter because they are firing on all cylinders right now. And they have a good posting here. Martinez are just waiting things out with the yacht. This is all about the pop flashes. We need to see that utility that's going to flush these players out of these positions and catch them a little bit more of a problematic positioning. But there it is. That's where the op needed to go. Now he can fall back. And Red Canids, now they're refighting for control on B ramp.
And look at how much time that's rotted off the clock. You can give all that space over, but with how much time it takes to clear out that part of the map, you're left with 30 seconds left on the clock to eventually get into this B bomb site. they're finally going to be able to execute.
Oh,
And
that
it's only
smoke.
Max here to kick up the nade. Oh, that's beautiful. That last-minute nade could have just saved Red Canids' opportunities. 4v4 now, 15 seconds left on the clock, and there's no way for this bomb to really be able to get stopped. It does go down just barely, and through the skin of their teeth, Red Canids stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, the positioning, and now they went for the rotate on its A, so now this is about a retake. This is the 4-4. The positioning here, not too bad here in terms of Red Canids, but they're gonna have to be careful. But that's Venom Zero able to put that AK to work. He's able to find two, make it a third, and they respond back in interesting fashion, and they ain't done yet.
My goodness, I mean, Red Canids did not have a way back into that round, but luckily for them, the default from 9Z suggested that maybe it was an A-leaning attack. And that nade to kick up the B lane smoke. I mean, in Go, right? In CSGO, that's a round win there from Max, playing in front of that smoke. But you can't do that any longer. There is still that opportunity to kick up the nade, or kick up the smoke rather with the nade. And Red Canids, off of a CS2 mechanic, get themselves their fourth. Very unlikely, but well done.
And that's the one of the benefits we talked about with Red Canids, got, you know, again, being in the back of B main like that, still having that utility. But yeah, whoever threw that nade, I wasn't unfortunately able to see it. That was really important because, again, with that CS2 mechanic, like you said, it just can change around just like that. Because in old versions, yeah, Max probably would have won that round for them because you would just be sitting there and you don't really want to run through the smoke. Flash comes in. They're going to swing through mid, though. The CT is getting some information. So now they know Red Canids aren't, you know, really interested in mid for the time being. Still waiting things out. A very slow default kind of positioning. 9Z from what we've seen. Look at how fast they just move around and rotate. Now they're starting to get the bodies towards this B site.
But the issue is there's just no weaponry to potentially defend this. Sure, you've got 3 players on the site, but they're being pushed away by this utility. Red Canids should have themselves their 5th here. And there's David, there's Hardzal. And we go even again at 5s. I mean, I'd argue that 9Z have played a better game here, but Red Canids have just been that much more resilient to hang on. And, I mean, you as a viewer can decide what you value more here, but at the end of the day, we're still at a tie game. And I'll be very curious to see who comes out on top. Is it that resiliency, or is it the anti-stratting? Is it the game plan to come out on top?
No, definitely. I mean, now they're just kind of hunting this, not allowing anybody to survive. The Deus needs to be a little careful, but okay. Ring around the rosy, they'll finally get it done. But a 5-5, and yeah, again, I gotta agree with you here because I mean, I was a little bit worried. 9Z were looking really strong. They looked like they were maintaining the control of this game, and now we're talking about that tie game situation. Now we'll see another gun round coming through. Both the ops out here for the CT/NT side, double MP9, and I mean, Paladin, I don't know if you agree with me, but that MP9 is strong. Like, it is in CS2. We have noticed that it can bring such a big pack to the punch.
I mean, it really does become position dependent, right? We saw those triple map MP9s trying to duel long range on mid, and it struggled. It's got to be these close range MP9s. I love that Max is playing close range on Cave, and so is Buddha. So, right place, right time for these MP9s. And you're right. When it does get to those close range duels, they get very deadly, especially in CS2. It'll be a first phase execution on this B bomb site, and a lot of players swung over from 9Z onto B, but there's nothing here. It's all a ruse, because look at Red Canids. You've got 2 players up into the red room and only 2 players on that A side to greet them.
Yeah, and this is the thing. They're just getting that information. They're allowing those 2 players to kind of scout things out, go a little bit rogue, get some intel, and that's still Venom Zera. Yeah, and they're pushing through, and they already pushed through mid-house. They got a player in CT spawn right now. Max is lucky that he didn't make that noise gear with the molly, but now you can see the bomb's transitioning. So now we're going to see, this is an execute that's coming into this A site. Players are going to do that 3-player into Donut, leaving it right now. For also, he has to come alive. He's in A main. He's tucked away, just waiting patiently, and it's going to be all about the timing for him right now. This is where he could be a difference maker if he wants to be. Two of his teammates are slowly creeping through, but I don't even know if they want to go for this in this kind of a situation anymore. It's a 3-on-5, making it worse for Ware with a 2. And this might just be a save now. The opportunity might be lost.
The issue with Huaso being the last alive on that A side is he is the A player. So I really do admire that Red Canids understand that, hey, look, we've got the man advantage, but we haven't found Huaso, so maybe he is A main. So they have all the players trained on that position after clearing Donut, after clearing Red Room. That's the only possible position. And Red Canids come out on top off of just a very well-coordinated fake on the B bomb side. They fake that B execution. They pull 4 players over to that beta bomb site. And as soon as they have that execution, you have 2 players in Red Room to cut off the rotations, and they basically just squeeze onto that A bomb site. I mean, so far, at first I thought that Red Canids didn't have any answers on this T side, but they found answers and then some.
Oh my goodness, a nice one catches the leg of one of these players, but now they need to do a little bit more than that. They're just going to bombard into this A site. They don't even want to wait things out anymore. They've been playing slow. They've been playing patient, but that patience has run right out. Now they got themselves in the A site. 9Z in a position here for the 4-on-4 retake. Bomb is going to go down, but it's all about the post plants here for Red Canids. They need to get themselves in these positions. Nithon somehow is able to get another duel in his favor. Finding an opening. 9Z running out of options. The double MP9 with the scout. It's looking like it might not be able to pack that punch. Red Canids have been able to find themselves that 7-5 in the first half. We're going to take that break, and we're going to get ready to see what could be a victory for one of these teams in the second half. All right, we're back in the third final map, the second half now for making the determination of who is going to keep moving on in this upper bracket. Now we're going to see what Red Canids can bring here on the CT side, as well as 9Z on their weakest side on the T.
Quite a mountain to climb here for 9Z. And an update on the A stream, MIBR have advanced to that next round in the upper bracket, handedly defeating Sharks. So loser of this game here will meet Sharks in the lower bracket. Winner will face MIBR, the favorites in this qualifier. And only one half to separate us between the opponents yet. And it's going to be this just instant play here from Red Canids. They want a duel with the dualies, and they get nothing. It's Buddha to rip some heads. And there's DGG to chime in as well. Not done just yet as 9Z as they get themselves their 6th round.
Even with that information that was spotted from the CT side through Cave, again, that was really important. I mean, but it didn't matter at all. Like, again, the shots that came in from Buddha, just too fast and too furious. And now they're going to be able to get themselves that 6th round. Just 1 round differential here for the tie game. But I like that 9Z didn't go for anything overcomplicated. Again, they just went for the, the B hit. They did a nice split. They had the one player just kind of throwing the pop flash utility. And I think that was just what they needed to do, right? Don't overcomplicate something here. We saw Red Canids playing pretty slow, and now 9Z, they kick it up a little bit in terms of the notches.
It works out for them. They get that 6th round. And 9Z look to potentially equalize here. I don't think Red Canids are very willing to force buy into this one. And with that, again, we stay just razor tight for this final map. And I wouldn't want it any other way here, lads, especially considering the kind of drama we got after map 1.
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding. Man, and this, like I said, I think we both talked about this a little bit just before this started, and this map is, again, still pretty strong for both these teams, so this is still anybody's game. I don't think there's a bigger favorite in my opinion. I think the one thing that we did notice, though, is Red Canids are on that hot streak in terms of playing this map with 6 in a row, whereas 9Z have been in the kind of the other end of that with the bit of the losses, consecutive losses being there. So a little bit more to prove here, and Red Canids are going to have to make sure they don't look light of this situation. Good intel. Ooh. (9Z). Nice control coming in. Again, just, really creeping up slowly on the map. Not being too much aggression on this. I like it. Bombs even the back of B main. I think this is good. And now they have the scout here, which I think is Max. He's just going to creep on through into the safe side. He's going to find out where the stack is. So he should be able to find this kill. And he should be able to get the intel that, yes, the A site is open. The CTs are now stacking towards B, but 9Z, still going to throw all that utility. They're still going to probably contest this. Why not?
I admire the diligence here from 9Z to make sure that they can confirm this round with minimal casualties. And that they have. Python, Destiny, Harddow starting to look for something, but superior weaponry and superior positioning as well has been fantastic. I don't know how Harddow gets a kill there on the USP, but it's definitely something they'd be happy about. Force the rebuy on Martineza. And now the true test comes for 9Z. Can they complete this comeback? Or is this the start of the Red Canids closeout?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we can see that, Anubis, it went for 13-11. Nuke was, way more of a dominant fashion that came in from 9Z. But that was only because, again, of what happened in the second half. And I mean, they were able to take that half flawless, right? They didn't lose a single one. So we'll have to see what Red Canids can do a little bit differently. 9Z, they are going to put the pedal to the metal, though. They are just going to run into this site. They now have the B control. Buddha's going to get burned alive here. Surviving with 4. And that bomb is going to make its way in here. It's getting a little bit dicey, though. CTs are now grouped up behind Pyramid. They're trying to see what they can do. The swing coming in. The Leo almost able to get the 2. And now this is just back and forth, leaving it just down to Hardzow. He's someone that's been farming this qualifier. A moment where he can shine. And we'll have to see it now. A 1-on-2 with 1:12 remaining. And he's got a tall task ahead of him right now. These T's, they can just burn the clock. They can make him on the guessing game. It's all about what Hardzow wants to do with this. He's in such a tough position. With another smoke, though, Paladin, this is good because now he's going to reblock this, isolating the pathway here. But he needs to find one of these kills right away. This is so important. Oh my goodness, they're going to double swing. They might even swing this individually. Another smoke. He's just picking up utility left, right, and center. And look at him. Now he's going to wrap around. No way does he get away with this. They don't even pick up the bomb. The bomb is still down.
Another
smoke.
How the hell is Hearts Out still alive in this clutch? 25 seconds left on the clock. After picking up all of this dead utility from his teammates, there's really a world where Hearts Out could have pulled it over the line, but finally the utility runs dry and 9Z collect the final frag. I mean, I really had to give credit to 9Z for calling a very brilliant round there, upping the tempo, making sure the MAC-10 gets up into the face of the CTs, and they get overwhelmed and then some. As those trades come through, there's flash after flash after flash alongside, and eventually Red Canids realize we can't do anything in this round. We have to hope and pray Hearts Out can get the clutch over on our side, but they just can't get it done. A brutal round to lose.
Oh, that
and
flash.
Now 9Z can turn up the jets and run away with this T side, at least to start things out.
And that flash, honestly, was the demise here for Venom Zero. He was playing really aggressive down mid with the 5-7, and he was pushing into elbow like that. He was trying to see what he could find, and with a 5-7 in that kind of close range, I mean, it could have been very much a big issue here for 9Z. But that flash that came in from their teammate right in middle, that was perfect timing. And now Red Canids do have an AK in their hands with Destiny and does have the armor, so doesn't have to worry about the aim punch. But now 9Z going to creep their way back through T-spawn, grouped in the back of the main, and look at that there. They find that timing, they take that rifle away, and the threat has now been removed.
Everything should be peachy keen now for 9Z. They do have to be worried about this timer of Davides and the flank. But even then, it's going to be tough for him to have a significant impact on the round. All eyes on him, on the Chilean, to see what he can find here. Might have a back turned onto DGT, but didn't completely check his corners. David has one, but that's all she wrote. Ninth under the USP. Can't do anything. And crisis averted for 9Z. 9 rounds for 9Z.
Still pretty scrappy with how this is going, but either way, now we're going to see the guns back out. Nithon will have the AWP equipped here too, so the op duel is going to be back for both these teams. Nithon was somebody, you know, in map 1, didn't really get to see a lot of the op action, like fully, except for obviously the clutch and things like that, but Nuke, we started to get to see a little bit more of that impact. Now this is the big moment. This is, again, to keep themselves alive here for the upper bracket. Now we're going to see 3 players on the CT side going towards B. Back to the 3-2 setup. Martineza does get boosted on the corner of the wall, takes down Venom Zero on the spot. Now he's just going to keep running through. That aggressive op will get removed now. That part of the equation's done. And now the AKs, they need to now find themselves that 10th round.
Magical stuff to open things up for Martineza, but Nithon is still fighting, kicking and screaming into this one. And with that, 9Z decided to pull the plug. They want to rock back to this A site. That's where Hardzow's waiting for the rest of these 9Z members to come into their arms. And unfortunately, 9Z cannot trade effectively in. So it's up to Max, it's up to DGT. And they've got 55 seconds left on the clock or so. With this man disadvantage comes that aggression from Max. He needs to find a way to shave off a player. And
no.
I think it might just be a matter of timing. David doesn't actually clear it completely. And now it's Hardzow potentially getting pinched. Can't get anything done. And it's just a matter of mere moments there for Red Canids to steal away the round. And instead, back into the 2v2.
Oh, and that smoke was so deep too. So even Davideus was kind of feeling it like, okay, I'm going to try to go through this. Maybe I'll get the timing. And right down to my mechanical like pieces right there, right? I mean, like you said, Max, the fact that he was able to find himself in that kind of position and take down Hardzow, that again, I feel like that was the key moment, because that was just taking down the anchor. The only other threat they had was the player in CT. He tried to do it by himself, and 9Z have now guaranteed themselves that 10th round. And it's, you know, I feel like for Red Canids, this is such a tough one too, because again, Nithon had such a great round in terms of just putting that op to work, removing the threat here of Martineza. So this is a little bit hard, but at least if they can keep that op alive, that's going to be a decent transition into this next round.
Now, Nithon on the AWP still retained. And he's had some impactful rounds, sure, but we need just a little bit more out of the captain. Especially in this round, in round number 18 especially. Just because it's really the only primary gun involved so far. Martineza has been doing pretty extraordinarily on his own right, now on the T side as well. Battle of the Ops hasn't been the most exciting affair in terms of the flashiest of frags, but they've all had their rounds. They've had opportunities to showcase their talent. It's just a matter of consistency at this point. But no matter, into this A site for 9Z. They want to fight fire with fire. They're gonna aggress through, and there'll be nobody to really answer back.
Yeah, and even again, they find that, you know, Davideus, and that's big, and the op's still there, so I mean, there is still a threat here from the CT side, but you're gonna have to find more than that. He does find himself too, but now he's wounded. He's down to 15, and again, I think this is where you're gonna have to wave the white flag and just let this one go. Keep it alive as long as you can, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. Destiny, unfortunately, can't find any sort of a weapon at all, so he's just gonna have to, again, just keep that 5-7 in armor. So this is not a bad save, but again, it's starting to slip away from them again, Paladin. That's what we kind of talked about here on Nuke.
Yeah, it's the fact that the runway is continuing to dry up here for Red Canids. And only a couple of opportunities left for the Brazilians. One last investment to try to get them over the line, or at least keep them in competition here in the upper bracket. Otherwise, it's down to the lower bracket to face the domestic competition of the Sharks. Oh, mid-smoke miss there from 9Z. So free mid-control potentially on deck here for Red Canids. Things looking up already.
I mean, they're going to get this mid... Oh my god. Oh my goodness, you're kidding. All right, sure, why not? That's what we talk. Now the Shadow Q. Look at this. There it is. Nithon again. Lethal. Making it a bit of a suffocation here. Now they know where the op is. So 9Z, they can pull back on this, and that's what looking like they want to do here. Hard's out just on the other side of the smoke. Max and him are about to hold hands.
No.
Oh my goodness. This is all about who's looking at the right time in the right place. This could be super scary, and Max does have the advantage of it, and he will get it. So now, back to the 4-on-3, the advantage for 9Z, and they're just going to kind of wait things out a little bit more. Now a 2-1 split here from Red Canids.
Now life gets a whole lot more difficult considering Hardzout could not get the job done. Martineza does not miss those. As Venom Zera tries to pull things back, 9Z move forward 4v2 to potentially lock in match point here after an arduous best of 3. They're going to pivot back over to this B bomb site, and it's only Davideus left up in this. He's had a hell of a series, has had some step-up anchor moments even on Nuke, but this might be one task too tall to manage.
Well, and even the positioning he's in, look at... Oh, that timing again! Oh, so unfortunate. He was waiting for so long, and then he was kind of getting a different feeling. And yeah, this is it. I mean, this is now where Nithon again has to save this op. There's no reason to go for this. They need to put everything into this last round because this is going to be map and series point now. Gained here for 9Z, but what we've seen so far for Red Canids is their CT side seems to kind of be, you know, in these last 2 maps, it's been, or this map alone has just kind of been such a, you know, turning point for them. They just can't seem to get consecutive rounds in their favor. But 9Z are kind of showing us, you know, how well tuned of a machine they are, and they're looking really scary.
Unfortunately, Red Canids' CT side has had a little too much respect, and oh my goodness, that's got to be the killer blow. Nithon not even being able to hold on to that AWP means that one of these players will not have the buy that they're looking for. And as I was saying previously, Red Canids have not been able to get proper mid control. They've not had any insane lane takes. They've not been able to take A main. It's been a lot of respect being given over to 9Z, and Max has been calling circles around Naithan as far as the second half is concerned. And at this point, I don't even know what your adaptations could be because there's just so many holes in the defense for 9Z to potentially abuse.
Well, and I think, you know, you talked a lot about this, you know, in the very beginning before the series started, and Martinez was kind of one of those players like where he got transitioned into this team and he's been a new player and, you know, filling in the op role, and we're wondering how well he can do. And we didn't get to see a lot of it in map 1, but I think, you know, from map 2 and now map number 3, he's really starting to show his comfortability. So a big difference in what we've been able to see. Now some re-aggression coming in from the CT side. There it is. That's what we need. Red Canids are able to find the double kill. Davideus starting himself to get that 1-2 punch.
Now life gets a lot more difficult for 9Z, trying to find something to pull back, and there's the AWP of Naithon going down. Unfortunate circumstance, but now 9Z have another potential opportunity to rock this match point back. But in the 4v3, still a lot of ground to cover. They still don't really have too much map control. They can get B lane here, but I do feel as though Red Canids might have a bit of mid-round aggression here to potentially take that map control back. They actually opt against it. They move back to the B bomb site after hearing those smoke grenades pulled. And there's a third player in Hardzao moving now as well.
Even Buddha, look at Buddha right now, just kind of again inspecting, and that bomb is still in the back of T-spawn. So with that kill, you can see the bomb is looking like it wanted to go that way, but they're still going to press forward into this B site. Martinez has now creeped through. Venom Zera has not been able to see this. Destiny finding Buddha now, so that's a good lurk kill. But look at this positioning. This is so dangerous. He might be able to catch Hardzao right off guard. He's not going to expect something this close, surely not. And he still wins the fight! And now, this is low HP. The op's out. All they got to do is swing together. Venom Zera will get it done. They're going to survive, man.
What kind of intuition there from Hardzao? I mean, if Hardzao goes down there, there is a very real world where 9Z runs away with it. Sure, they always had that trump card and the get out of jail free card with Venom Zera tucked in the cave there, but still, a real dicey situation there. Credit to Venom Zera, credit to Hardzao for holding on. But they've got to save 4 more match points if we want to have extra rounds here. And 9Z still have quite a couple of buys here to potentially hold on.
Still another buy round here for 9Z. Bit more of a different composition here. So the 3-1-1. Lots of utility being burned here from the CT side, but now they've already pushed through B ramp. You can see this. They actually do it from both ends here, from cave and from B ramp. So now they've actually cleared this. So now David Davis is going to hear all the noise cue of the util coming in, but he has to be able to find at least a duel. He has to stop this aggression. He does find that first, looking for that second.
Oh, no.
Not going to happen, but Nightbon, he's close on by with the AWP. Ooh. And that's a beautiful shot from Max. 9Z. They've made things a little bit more interesting. It was looking a little bit problematic, but it's not looking like that's the case. The bomb still hasn't been dropped yet, but utility just flying from the sky right now. Hardzao goes for a swing in desperation. Venom Zera by himself to see what he can do. A 1-on-3 to keep them alive in this game. This could be all over right here and right now. 9Z just need to hold on for the bomb timer, and they have guaranteed themselves this upper bracket run. But Venom Zera needs to be able to find something deep in the pocket, but it ain't gonna happen, and it's a 13-8 that goes in victory for 9Z.
I gotta give my heart out to David there. I think he pressed the reload button when he still had like 10 or 12 bullets left in the chamber, and that cost him. He goes down instantaneously. Naithon behind him, and it's just a surgical take.